There's a good chance that Mexico is quickly moving towards nationalizing silver. But what would this mean in the grand scheme of things, and why? See, Mexico is the largest producer of silver, and with all the news about them becoming more energy efficient recently starting to develop, this could change the game entirely. But at what cost, and more importantly, how could this affect you? Well, folks, you're about to find out.
Connection established.
Welcome back and thank you for tuning in, folks. We have an incredibly interesting video today. You're going to want to stick all the way through this one. This article is titled "More Transcripts from Mexican Activists Calling for Energy Independence. Silver Resources Belong to the People of Mexico." So before we jump into this article, remember, folks, make sure you subscribe if you love silver stacking, because I post daily videos. I will be doing another massive silver giveaway on this channel very soon, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the entry video. And remember, my channel isn't known for skimpy small giveaways. I give away over $1,000 worth of silver usually each time, and that's to show my appreciation. And we actually have another silver raffle in 11 days over on the Secret Silver Society. And this one isn't just the luck of the draw like my main channel, though. This one takes some skill. By August 24th, that is the last day you can enter, we are going to all place a guess. Well, I guess you all. And once you have one price locked in, that's your guess. And whatever silver's price will be by closing on August 31st, whoever gets the closest to guessing what silver's price will be will win. The Secret Silver Society does monthly raffles. The 31st of each month, we do either like a contest or just a random bucket pull out of the hat. Each member gets, one entry or whatever. So go check that out as well, patreon.com/silverslayer. Now it's finally time for us to dive into this topic. Now, if you've seen my recent videos, this has been a growing topic, and that's why this article starts off to say more transcripts from Mexican activists calling for energy independence. Silver resources belong to the people of Mexico. And write your thoughts on that down below. Since Mexico does hold so much silver, right? Mexico is the biggest producer. It's like Mexico and Peru and China. Those two countries, Mexico and Peru alone, produce like nearly half of all global production itself. It's like Mexico, Peru, China, Chile, a couple of other ones. But anyways, this is a little bit of a history lesson just to give some context. I'm gonna skim through this and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes, so make sure you stick around. Let's begin with some historical context of why energy self-sufficiency is the best practice for building wealth of nations. Now, of course, this isn't just energy, energy self-sufficiency in terms of like, let's say going green, but in general, not just silver, but gold as well. We determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have, right? Not how many dollars they print off, but silver also has a very important role. They both play parts. So here's the forward. The concept of energy self-sufficiency has played a pivotal role in survival and success of nations throughout history. Here, we explore 5 nations that have thrived due to their control over energy resources, highlighting their historical context and the importance of energy independence. Now, one is the Roman Empire. They mention it's partly due to its ability to harness energy resources efficiently. The Dutch Republic, 1581 to 1795. Great Britain, 18th to 19th century during the Industrial Revolution, fueled by the country's abundant coal reserves. Number 4, the United States of the 20th century. 20th century United States became a global superpower largely due to its energy resources. Vast oil reserves in Texas and other states provided with the U.S. reliable energy supply. Norway, 21st century. Norway has become one of the wealthiest, or one of the world's wealthiest nations per capita thanks to its energy resources, discovering oil and natural gas in the North Sea. So here is some very good points of why this is so important. So energy independence is a critical factor in a nation's ability to maintain sovereignty and stability. Nations that control their energy resources are less vulnerable to external pressures and can pursue independent foreign and domestic policies. Energy self-sufficiency contributes to economic resilience, allowing countries to withstand global market fluctuations and geopolitical tensions. And now you start to get an idea of why Mexico would want to do this, but also why other countries, especially in the BRICS nations, are buying so much silver and gold, and why all the world's central banks are buying record amounts of gold, and India importing so much. And you have all of these countries, these countries that are striving for power, this huge power shift moving from the west to east, all gathering these resources, while the United States is simply at the mercy of countries like China. This is specifically planned out. It's like they're playing chess and we're playing checkers. And by the way, if you do play chess, comment down below. In contrast, countries reliant on external energy sources often face challenges such as economic dependency, political instability, and vulnerability to external manipulation. In conclusion, the control of energy resources has been a decisive factor in the rise and fall of nations throughout history. From the Roman Empire to modern-day Norway, energy self-sufficiency has enabled countries to thrive and maintain their sovereignty in an ever-changing world. And you can apply that same principle to yourself. We determine a country's wealth on how much gold they have, not how many dollars they print. So apply that to yourself. How much gold you have determines your wealth, not how many dollars you have in your bank account. Right? And think about if you're able to instill this same type of thought process to your kids and grandkids. This is historical wealth, passing it down through generations, your kids' kids. And think about a fiat-based system only lasts around a century. So no matter how many dollars you save for your kids' kids' or your grandkids or whoever, that's only going to last so much. We might not even see the dollar. We might see a whole completely new financial system or whatever it is within our lifetime. So some say within just the next couple of years. So imagine someone who passes gold and silver down and hands it down, because a lot of us aren't selling. A lot of us are passing it down to our kids. We are ensuring that wealth survives throughout our bloodline. That is a perfect way, because gold and silver has been timeless. It's been valuable for 5,000 years, and in 5,000 years, it still will be. We're talking about elements in the periodic table. So that's just a good thing to think about. If you're passing, silver and gold down, especially if you can instill the value of it so they don't just all sell it, like it would be horrible to pass your gold and silver down to your grandkids after you passed away. They're irresponsible and they end up selling it all for a stupid car or something. If you can instill the value of it, and they continue to keep stacking instead of just picking it, selling it off, that seed is planted and generational wealth will live on. So I just wanted to mention that, since they're talking about how we determine a country's wealth. So silver is the #1 rated commodity for all future energy. Now understand what Mexico is doing to secure their energy self-sufficiency. Mexico, the world's leading silver producer, stands on the brink of becoming a global superpower by nationalizing its silver industry. This move could mirror the historic expropriation of oil in 1938, try to say that word 10 times fast, which significantly bolstered Mexico's economy and national security. I mean, who wouldn't do this? So a strategic resource, silver's unique properties as the best conductor of electricity make it indispensable for emerging technologies. Its demand is soaring in sectors like aerospace, military, solar energy, AI data centers, silver batteries, and fuel cell energy. As the world transitions into cleaner energy and advanced technologies, silver's role becomes increasingly critical. Like I was just mentioning, going green. Nationalizing silver could ensure that Mexico capitalizes on this growing demand, securing its economic future and enhancing its geopolitical influence. Just like someone like Elon Musk that owns Tesla and SpaceX, right? Someone, and also Starlink. I don't know if he still does Solar City as well, the solar energy, the solar panel stuff, but all of his companies revolve around green energy and AI. That all requires silver. So if a country is going green or trying to continue its local wealth of not being dependent upon other countries, especially those that could potentially turn bad, or relationships could turn bad, especially as war is quickly becoming so popular, with war being such a huge consumer of silver. You could see why this would be a no-brainer for any country that has access to so much silver. Just like with the United States and our silver coins. And we are in a situation that we shot ourselves in the foot because we used to create our silver planchets in-house, locally. But then we started outsourcing, so now we're at the mercy of other mints to get our silver, to make our coins. And that ended up being a terrible move. It made sense at that point in time, since we were producing like 30 to 40 million Eagles per year. It was quicker and easier to just outsource, and actually more cost efficient to just outsource it instead of having to do all that labor in-house. But at the end of the day, it came back to bite us. Same type of situation is happening here, just on a much bigger scale. So anyways, let's keep moving on. So historical parallel, oil nationalization in 1938. 1938, President Lázaro Cárdenas nationalized Mexico's oil industry. Let's look at this. This is actually important. That last one was kind of just a story. So national security and economic independence. Nationalizing silver aligns with former President Andrés Manuel López, I guess you could call him AMLO, his strategy to secure Mexico's energy future. Following the nationalization of lithium, silver will most likely be next, given its strategic importance. By controlling silver production, Mexico could stabilize its economy, reduce dependency on foreign investment, and protect against global market fluctuations. The call for nationalization. Given the dwindling silver reserves and the increasing demand, nationalization is a strategic imperative. Think about, if Mexico produces so much of the world's silver and they keep it all for themselves, they set the bar. Just like when silver, I always talk about producers turning into the consumers and consumers turning into the producers. The people like you and I that want the silver will be able to sell it to the people that need the silver, and we can set the price. They need it. If you want the newest, latest iPhone, you better hope they need it. Or, if we go green, or every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be electric, or zero net emissions by the year 2050, they continue to need silver, or they won't be able to make their products at all. So whoever has it will be able to set the price, and they will be willing to pay any price, or else they literally wouldn't be able to make the product itself. And that's kind of what they're doing here, is they have it. They have more of it than any other country, so they aren't prone to fluctuations or manipulation like they also just said. They could set the price. They have the power. This move would not only secure Mexico's position as a leading silver producer, but also transform it into a formidable player on the global stage, much like the oil nationalization did in the past. Now, it doesn't take a genius to understand that mining is a very touchy subject, especially with silver, as we need more and more silver, but there's less and less of it. And with a 770 million ounce deficit in just the last 4 years alone, this could be a very messy situation, since mining innovation is basically the only way we can try to fulfill these types of demands of 1.21 billion ounces. We're predicting a deficit of 250 million ounces. I mean, what can we do? Either recycling, mining innovation, or taking it from us. I mean, what other options is there? So mining, especially with something like silver, can become increasingly hard, but also that could be increasingly dangerous on several other fronts, like they're about to explain here. The extractive industries, silver mining specifically in Mexico, particularly those owned by U.S. and Canadian corporations, have long been a source of exploitation, extracting precious metals like silver from Mexico while leaving the local communities impoverished. This exploitation is a modern form of colonialism, where foreign investors reap the benefits of Mexico's natural wealth, while the rightful owners, the people of Mexico, are left with environmental degradation and economic disparity. Silver, a source or a resource that should be a cornerstone of prosperity for Mexico, is instead lining the pockets of foreign entities. This calls for a radical shift in perspective and policy, a movement towards silver sovereignty. The people of Mexico must reclaim their rights to these resources, ensuring that the wealth generated from silver mining benefits local communities, not distant shareholders. This is not merely an economic issue, it's just a matter of justice and self-determination. Mexico is no longer content to be treated as a resource colony for wealthier nations. The time has come for a bold and revolutionary stance: the nationalization of the silver industry. By taking control of its resources, Mexico can ensure that the profits from silver mining are invested back into the country, funding infrastructure, education, and healthcare, and fostering sustainable development. This movement towards silver sovereignty is a clarion call for Mexican people to unite against foreign exploitation. It is a demand for economic independence and a rejection for the neo-colonial practices that have long suppressed the nation's potential. The resources of Mexico belong to its people, and it's time for them to claim their rightful ownership and build a future where they can thrive on their terms. So, the Silver Academy reiterates temporary hold on investing in operations out of Mexico. All transcripts published blah, blah, blah. So these are all transcripts published via Reddit DMs and Reddit comments. Disclaimer, this is not a position of the Silver Academy, just copies of transcript received through our web crawlers and DMs. So, yeah, that's another thing you got to remember is, like the last article, you have to look at this almost as optimistic possibilities for the country of Mexico. Not saying that necessarily this will happen, or even that you want it to happen. It's just an optimistic possibility for a country that is being exploited with their rightfully owned resources to take control. And you would see you do see, I guess, the outcome from that, the consequences from that, but even on a bigger scale of not just Mexico, but like I said, people like Elon Musk, or also us. Because at the end of the day, we still because we don't need the silver, we want the silver, but those out there do need it, like Mexico, like Elon Musk, like Apple, like any other type of company or industry that needs silver, specifically silver, because that's what we stack. I guess we could also do gold as well, but gold really doesn't have the use case as much as silver does. You could see that we are holding something much more valuable than I think a lot of us even understand. And like I mentioned with the generational wealth that we're passing down to our kids and grandkids, this is something much deeper than just a get-rich-quick scheme or silver, that we're just going to hold and pay off our mortgage even 10, 15 years down the line as well. This is much bigger than that, or even just much bigger than a hedge against inflation as the dollar collapses. Silver is much more important than those things. And when you look at the whole bigger picture of military, aerospace, especially as we go green with surveillance systems, rockets, nuclear reactors, submarines, torpedoes, drones, and I get everything, AI chips, everything. It's all needed, but there's not much of it. And then especially when you look at the mining industry of how much silver's left, where silver is a topical metal, it's on the very top of the Earth's crust. So stuff that's dug up, that's gone. It's not made in the Earth's mantle. It's come here from meteors and comets and asteroids. And it's an element on the periodic table that's the most highly conductive metal. So there's not much silver left. It's needed at alarming rates, especially as demand increases. And now we have countries like Mexico that could potentially be keeping it all for themselves. And rightfully so, it's theirs. So just think about that on a bigger picture. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Remember, folks, If you wanted to invest into silver, we have 10th ounce silver Britannias for only $4.99 per coin, which that's very unique and interesting. 1 ounce gold Krugerrands for $60 over spot. We have Philharmonics for only $3.10 over spot. And last but not least, we have 1 ounce platinum maples for only $80 over spot. Email, text, or call me slayer@milesfranklin.com. And my phone number is 330-485-6172. If you wanted to enter the silver raffle at the Secret Silver Society, then I'll post a link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, folks. We're doing some big giveaways soon as well. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.